Hey, what's up, guys? Figured I'd do a video here. I've been thinking about doing one, just kind of a spur of the moment type of deal. Oftentimes, when I'm done sitting here bowling, I will just think a lot and kind of meditate and use this time to kind of do that when I'm bowling here. And so, for the past day or so, couple days really, ever since we got some kind of bad news about Billy from the Game Chasers. I prayed for him and just thought a lot about it. But I guess when it actually happened, when he actually passed away, it kind of hit me hard. Like, in a sense that, you know, he's a pretty cool guy. And I figured I would just make a video and kind of tell you guys what it meant to me. I by no means knew Billy on any kind of personal level. I've hung out with Jay a couple of times, like in Southeast Game Exchange and things like that. But Billy, at that time, was kind of absent. I think that's when he was having his kid and stuff. And one time, most specifically, I actually remember being a little upset with Billy. And J-Love talked me down, kind of brought me to my senses. Me and Megan went to Michigan to a convention called Astronomicon. And AVGN and the Game Chasers were going to be there. And I thought it'd be really cool to see them both and kind of go to a place that not a lot of people were. So we went to Astronomicon, and Billy was actually like sick, and he stayed upstairs and in his hotel room, and Jay was telling me, you know, yeah, he's just upstairs, and, you know, I don't know if he'll come down this weekend. He's not feeling good at all and stuff. And I was like, okay. And so I was kind of salty about it because I thought that was a perfect opportunity to meet him and talk to him, because it was like not busy at all there. And come to find out, AVGN didn't come through there either. AVGN actually got hung up on a airplane in Philadelphia. They didn't fly it out because there was some sort of snowstorm or something. So the whole weekend kind of went to whatever, because I was like, what the heck, man? I was supposed to meet these people and they're not here. But I remember being a little mad at Billy, like, man, tough it out and come down and you know, see your fans, dude. What the heck, you know? But then J-Love's like, oh, you know, I guess, you know, he's a really nice guy, and I'm sure he was really sick and blah, blah, blah. and I, you know, came to my senses. It was like, yeah, it's really stupid to be mad at somebody for that. And so it started out kind of negative. But the reason I always wanted to meet him really bad and where that emotion came from was, you know, you had AVGN back in like 2010, 2009, and he was the one that kind of established, like, remembering all these old games and stuff like that. He was the one that really brought it back, you know, and made you go look at your old stuff. And I had always had a love for the retro stuff. So when somebody was like noticing it, I was like, this is awesome, you know. And so the other person was Billy and Jay, the Game Chasers. I loved how they went out to flea markets and they went to old antique stores and retro stores. And they really showed you that, hey, there's all these cheap games out there and you can find a lot of deals, and it's pretty cool. So I got together with people from work and I did the same thing as them. And we went out to, you know, flea markets, and I found really cool stuff. And I really owe that to them, because they're the ones that brought that there. And no disrespect to Shady J, but Billy was the editor, and Billy was the more creation side of things. So I always felt like I kind of owed that to him, and how cool that is. And I never really got a chance to have a relationship with him or anything like that. But I always knew he was there. And it's kind of weird, because a couple months ago, if not a few months ago, I went back and I watched a couple of their episodes just randomly. So it's just funny how that works out, you know. And so recently, I've watched a whole bunch of their episodes. Like yesterday, I really watched a lot. And it just put me in a really good place with it. And just how much, I guess, if he can hear us and what's going on with that, I just hope he knows that, man, you are a big contributor to my YouTube channel. Me finding retro games, me finding the retro game community and all the friends in it. He really helped kickstart that. You know what I mean? You had AVGN, and then you had them. And he was a big part of that, man. And so it really sucked when I heard that news. Not only from a human standpoint of I'm not far away from his age and just showing how precious life is, but just from a standpoint also that he was a big pillar in the retro game community. We just lost like a huge part of our foundation. And so it really sucks that all that happened. It's really got me thinking a lot, man. It's really got me thinking a lot. It's really got me praying. And I just miss him a lot. And I wish that kind of stuff wouldn't happen. I guess is the best way to say it. But, it also brought a side out to me that in the retro game community throughout the last year or two, I've seen a lot of stupid stuff like drama and things like that. And it just brings, when things like this happen, it really, in my opinion, brings to light that none of that shit matters, man. That you argue with people about what freaking game they like, or you're making fun of their personal life, or you got some kind of problem with them. And when things like this happen, none of that shit matters, man. So I really wanted to give the message out to say, guys, use something like this to really learn to forgive. Learn to forgive. Learn to not hold grudges. Learn to take a peaceful route. Because you really just don't know when your time's up. You don't know when shit'll go down. Obviously, every time stuff like this happens, I also think about my dad and stuff. And I think about how young he was when he passed away. And now Billy, who's even younger. And they're not the only ones I've seen pass away at a young age. But it just shows you, man, shit can go down whenever. Like that. And that none of this stuff you're angry about, or none of this stuff you hold a grudge about, none of it matters, man. None of it matters. Live peacefully. Live with no grudges, man. Forgive. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Understand that people mess up. But, Billy, I'll really miss you, man. And thanks for really helping create, and I say this in a good way, the obsessed nature that I have for retro and retro video games. You and Jay's show was, now I'm realizing, such a big seed in what I've grown into, how obsessed I am with it. Like I say, in a good way. I know that sounds bad, but my game room, streaming, just retro games and my love for it, the never-ending love that I will have for it. You guys helped water that, and I have grown into such a fun thing with that. And that'll always be a part of my life, probably. And I don't know if it's that seated, if it's that deep, if not for your guys' show. And Billy, you were a huge part of that. In editing, helping shoot it. Melvor, you too. All you guys, man. It sounds silly, but a show like that is really inspiring to do the things you love. And you guys brought me back to being a kid and loving the stuff I grew up with. And man, we'll never understand why things happen the way they do. Only God knows that. And sometimes, man, it all comes down to, in my opinion, that sometimes we're just a part of this earth. And at this earth, shitty stuff happens. And does God just stop it all? Well, no. Because there's a bigger purpose. There's a bigger purpose. There's more after this. And I believe that Billy is on some type of journey right now. And he's doing some shit that's way more important than what the hell we're doing. This is a very short stop, guys. I don't know if I told you guys this or you've been on my channel. And this by all no means is it some sort of stupid bragging or something like that. But I finished the Bible, I think it was a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago. Something like that. And it helped me to realize a lot of stuff. And this is an important spot where we're at, but it's not the end. It's not the end at all. There's a lot more than this, man. And sometimes you're going to ask yourself, well, if God's real, why does he let stuff like this happen? Well, because we are who we are. And that's sin. And if you've been paying attention to the news, and you've been paying attention to politics, we're pieces of shit. All of us. Humans are extremely flawed. And we help the sin grow here on this earth. And that equals into some bad shit, man. If God could make all the decisions for us, everything would be perfect and we'd be in a completely different place. But that's just not how it works. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. But be peaceful. Be kind. Be forgiving. Don't hold grudges. Don't get revenge. Be the bigger person. Forgive, 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 forgive. Forgive. Stop talking crap about people every day. Be a good person. There's way bigger stuff than what's going on here. But Billy, man, for what you did, I love you a lot. Thanks so much for all the time you spent on your computer editing, for all the time you guys shot those videos, all the time you spent doing that stuff. From the bottom of Mega Dan's heart, thank you so much, dude. Thanks so much. I'll miss you, dude. I really wish I would have been able to meet you and have some moment of your time. But it's okay. Maybe we'll cross paths one day. Maybe we could play a game upstairs or something. We'll see if that's possible. Retro Game community, hang on to each other, man. Be good to each other, more importantly. Put others before you put yourself. Think about others, man, constantly. With everything you say, with everything you do. Be a good person. Forgive, forgive, forgive. I'll see you guys later, man. Have a good weekend.